$5, of course, the most worthy thing. I'll read these off, and then I have a quick message coming in from just off screen. Cuphead Funko Pop 6-figure for $30. Shovel Knight Combo Bundle, $30 entry. A SNES Classic, probably the best console of our generation, with the Playing with Superpower SNES book coming for $50. Also with $50 generated to win the Shovel Knight Plushie Combo prize Bundle, which is better than the other prize bundle because it has plushies involved. You want the plushies. And lastly, for $100 donation, you're entered in for win the Switch and Zelda and Mario Odyssey. And that run you are $420 US actually. And so anyways, guys, let's play a video game. Here we go. I give you Castlevania, Lords of Shadows. Oh, wait, no, Xenoblade Chronicles music's playing. All right, screw it. Let's go to Castlevania. Woo!
Bunch of technical difficulties with audio here for a little bit, but we're going to be hopping right into the run very quickly. This is Castlevania Lords of Shadow. This is the Ultimate Edition that is available on Steam that comes with the DLC. We will not be doing the DLC today because it's not great. We're going to preface this. This is a New Game Plus run, which means that I keep all of my abilities, relics, and upgrades basically at the start of the game. We're also going to be doing a full power run, which enables the code for all upgrades. It says activate cheats, but this is allowed in this particular category, and I'll get into that more, of what that allows us to do and kind of what makes it interesting as a speedrun because of that. All right, so we're going to be going through 12 chapters of Lords of Shadow. Good. All right, so we're going to get a countdown here. It's going to be on go. All right, so 3, 2, 1, go.
A storm is coming.
So this is Castlevania Lords of Shadow.
The world is changing.
So a much maligned game inside of the series because they're like, oh, it's a God of War ripoff. A lot of God of War ripoffs, honestly, and God of War is kind of a ripoff of Devil May Cry, which is kind of a ripoff of Legacy of Kain. So I don't know where that's coming from, but anyway, this game's kind of average.
It's basically a Pyramid Scream Turbo.
It's like a 3 out of 5 game for casual stuff, but it is a fantastic speedrun. Right now I'm going to use a Flame Tornado to beat up on this doggy real quick. Very important that we have good old Gabbo Belmont here pick up this huge stake to impale this wolf. He's going to pick it up really early compared to when the dog jumps, but don't worry about it. A lot of bosses inside of this game have this thing where they go into a phase where you have to do something in order to kill them, and if you don't, then they regen health. One of the nice things about this game is that you can skip cutscenes.
I follow him into the old
and that's going to do it for the first stage. Second stage is going to be somewhat of an auto-scroller. We're going to get chased through the forest by the Lycans, and they're going to knock us off our horse. QTEs in this game are 2 circles that kind of close in on each other. You can use any action button in order to initiate the QTE and succeed in it. However, for these particular ones, we're going to fail because even if I succeeded into them, eventually the Lycans would throw Gabriel off of the mount, so it's easier to just take the fall now. We are hoping on this next werewolf that he bumps into us rather than jumps on us, but that's okay. It's minor stuff. Oh yeah, we got that. That's nice. Just allows us to skip the cutscene a little faster. This is Ultimate Light. Gabbo Belmont has a nice little whirly bird there.
Spin to win, man.
Oh, man. So you'll notice I'm using silver daggers in order to kill Lycans. Sub-weapons work kind of oddly in this game. They work on kind of a rock, paper, scissors thing where certain enemies get completely destroyed by a certain sub-weapon, and others don't. Lycans destroyed by silver daggers. So we're going to see our first real instance of sequence breaking coming up right here. This is called a backwards high jump. And the reason that I did that was so that I could skip a trigger for an arena that would hit at that point. Because I didn't get the arena, an invisible wall was triggered near that swamp that I needed to jump over afterward. Something that you're going to see as a consistent theme in this game, and in many games like this, say God of War or any really 3D action game, is when you can gain between 2 and 3 times the height or distance a developer intends for you to get at any given time, the game kind of falls apart. This is a new strat. Shoutouts to Fiddlestick. And we're off.
Wow.
Now I need to hope I don't fall out of bounds. We're good. And that allows us to skip an arena with goblins where we'd use grenades to blow up a tree to make a bridge. Now we're going to come up to another boss inside of the game. It's going to be the Swamp Troll right after we upgrade our whip here. We don't really need to upgrade it. He's just going to kind of look at the grave and have the ability anyway. So once again, we are trapped inside of a graveyard with a large swamp troll. We're going to distract him with some fairies, though, and we've decided that the friendship is more important here. So we're just going to leave him be. Just kind of continue on with the game. So nice little skip here for this climbing sequence, using double jump. You'll notice sometimes it seems like I'm standing on thin air, and that's not a visual glitch. That's literally just how it works when you do these skips. We activate the grapple point early there because with a double jump we're jumping higher than intended for this level. You're going to notice that double jump breaks this game pretty heavily until about chapter 7 or 8, which is when you would normally acquire it. Pan's Temple's kind of a little bit of a lone side of this, just a couple of basic puzzles to go through. So I guess I can kind of talk a little bit more about this weakness principle. As I mentioned, werewolves, the lesser lichens, get killed in a single hit from silver daggers. You also have holy water, which does a number on vampires and a number of other enemies. Fairies allow you to distract a huge number of monsters, and I'll kind of show more of that off as we go. Fairies are one of the more underestimated sub-weapons inside of this game, I feel. And the last thing's a dark crystal, and we'll see that soon enough. Funny enough, there is a little bit of optimization with these puzzles. It has to do with triggering the next input faster. That's a lot.
Do we have time for a quick donation?
Sure, go for it.
We have a $50 donation in from a guy named Spare saying, or it could be Spare, I'm not quite sure, saying, let's just get this donation challenge out of the way. Not sure which one that was for on my screen, but thank you very, very much for that generous donation.
You'll notice on the left side of the screen we have a little 8-bit Simon Belmont. That's just to show that the cheats are active. Interestingly enough, it gives a little bit of an advantage because by having it active, it allows you to know the state that Gabriel is in, like if he's jumping, if he's attacking. Which, as you'll see, there are times in this game where you have no visibility on Gabriel whatsoever, and you just kind of have to roll with that and understand where you are in space. So this is just basic puzzle solving here before we get on to the game's first Titan. The Titans are the thing that many people go like, well, it's ripping off Shadow of the Colossus. I disagree with this because these actually work. Well, in Shadow of the Colossus, yeah. Not the best fan of that game.
The test has shaken him. I see
that being said, these aren't like anything to write home about. But we are going to be fighting a Titan. Basic principle with Titan, you need to travel all around them, jumping from place to break ruins on them, and that allows you to defeat them. We're going to be breaking a Dark Crystal here. Dark Crystals are a relatively rare sub-weapon item that allows you to do massive damage to everything on screen. In the case of the Titans, it'll bring them to the point where a single hit on the ruins will break them, and that speeds them up considerably. The main principle with Titans is that they can shake when you are on them, and they can shake between 1 and 2 times. We're just trying to reduce the amount of times that they shake by moving efficiently in the area. I'm sure that this snow looks great on encoding, by the way. I'm sure the tech crew's loving it. So Campy and Kai, what runs are you looking forward to in the marathon going forward?
Oh, this is a good question, Turbo. I gotta relook at the schedule again.
Can you taste the excitement in Epikai's voice as he forgets the schedule?
I will be excited to watch Romulus Scoutulus play some Soten on a sick console.
Oh, man.
Probably the best version of the game, from what I'm told.
Well, I will also be running Soten after ROM if a certain donations get met, so...
Ooh, what's that donation goal?
I think it was $15,000.
Sick.
I'll be doing Richter any %. And you guys will also see maybe a hand cam if you donate more. Of me probably breaking my D-pad.
The king of breaking D-pads.
In March, I've broken 3 of them, so...
This guy.
It's pretty typical of Richter runners.
Turbo
Should
can
be a
attest to
donation
that.
fund.
I tried to learn Richter, and I was like, this hurts. My thumb. I don't want to do this anymore.
And then we see Gabo jumping as you see little Simon Belmondo doing the thing too.
Dude, little Simon, he's the true hero of this game. Like,
Oh man, we skipped the cutscene where he stabs him.
Yeah, unfortunately, one of the biggest casualties of cutscene skipping is that you don't get to
ways
see some of the
here
sick boss kills in
My
this,
instinct
but
tells-
it's just the way things go. Here we're using a stomp to bypass some collision there to allow us to progress a little quicker. We're going to go ahead and roll off of this ledge to recover and allow us to get on our way a little quicker. A lot of little small optimizations that I've kind of put into this route. I will give a enormous shout out to the glitch finding community for this game. I got to this game relatively late in kind of discoveries regarding it. Big shout outs to Findlestick, Satvara, Piazone, Akion, Lestat Vampire, who's a French person who did RTA runs for this. He's the only other person that I'm aware of that has done RTA runs. But those guys put in such work inside of this game in order to get it into the state that it's at. And there's no way that this game would be RTA viable without their hard work. I am pleased to say that with the exception of, I believe, 2 major skips, you will be seeing just about every skip that's possible inside of this game.
So Turbo, I got a question for you.
Okay?
How long did it take you to learn all these skips, and which one gave you surprisingly the most amount of trouble?
There is everyone. That's the thing. Let me go ahead and get this skip, and I'll kind of elaborate on this.
Okay.
So this is a skip for a grenade arena, where normally you have to fight goblins in order to get their grenades. We roll out of that fall, because when you take a big fall, Gabriel will always roll in the direction he's facing, and since we're doing a backwards long jump, he'll roll like away from the direction we want to go. So while a lot of
He
things
is
were
becoming
documented in
stronger
this
with
game,
every
like
step
skips
he
were
takes.
possible, there wasn't a lot really for consideration when it came to like telling players what your goals were in doing the skips. And so because of that, even though I had footage of the skips and a very, very vague description of how they worked, I basically had to backwards engineer every single skip in this game from Findlestick's segmented run, which is pretty rough because as we continue inside of this game, you're going to see that more often than not, when Gabriel is doing a skip, he is invisible. He's like behind some sort of collision. This is kind of a rough skip here, but we're going to give it a shot. Okay, yeah, we're going to just drop here. Alright. So that skip is kind of annoying, and it has to do with the way this game deals with invisible walls and collision in general. Especially when it comes to balance beams. This web, for example, counts as a balance beam. You can only enter a balance beam where the entrance to the balance beam is, and you can only exit it where the exit is. So while it seems like I should easily be able to make that double jump over the web, it's actually a relatively precise jump. I'm going to pick up this guy's runic stone key. We're supposed to use that and another one to open the door in the background, but Gabo ain't got no time for that.
You just gotta go out of bounds, man.
Gabo ain't got no time for no chumps.
Word.
Just like King Metal Slime. Alright. So we're just going to go ahead and jailbreak here. Struggle. There we go. Got it.
A quick donation for you.
Go for it.
Got $20 in from Starwin saying,
Oh, man.
"Hey Turbo, super happy that you got Lords of Shadows into an awesome event like Kellython. Look forward to meeting you in person someday. Good luck to all your runs during the event. By the way, that ring puzzle you did earlier reminds me of another ring puzzle in a certain spooky game.
Oh, man.
Starwin out."
Shout out to Starwin.
Yo, Starwin, you want to see
So
a
he
guy
has found
who like
another of Gandalf's
busts his butt
upgrades.
in his speed games? Starwin is a Silent Hill Homecoming speedrunner in addition to a bunch of other games. It is extremely unfortunate that he was unable to get the nod into SGDQ this year. Him and Dead Robots have put in such an extreme amount of work into the Homecoming run. I did my best to try and show it off at the last Calithon. To some good stuff and some bad stuff. But that guy is fantastic at that game. You should definitely check him out if you get an opportunity. Also recently took, with the announcement that Amy is going to be making it into SGDQ, he decided to try his hand in that, and he recently took the world record in, I believe, 1 week, which is pretty sweet. Shows just the strength of caliber of runner that he is. I guess I'm like just going out of bounds and stuff while I'm talking. Ooh.
Gabbo is just so angry
Okay,
every time he punches.
We're gonna go back here a little bit. We're gonna restart from checkpoint because where I was at there was not good. But Silent Hill Homecoming, another game that I probably would have been completely lost if it weren't for people like Robots and Starwind to kind of show me the way and how to do the glitches in that as well. But I digress. We're going to go out of bounds here. Get a nice little look, some sightseeing out of bounds here. Look at that beautiful skybox. It's fantastic.
Getting back to your roots, I see.
I only play games in which I can out of bounds.
Look at Simon Belmondo just whip his hardest, man. It's great.
So the guillotine launcher in this game is kind of broken. Sometimes it can grab onto terrain and allow you to relaunch, which is how that skip works. We approach this arena from the backside because if we went from the front, we would trigger the arena and a goblin would come in and take this log all over the place and just be an enormous nuisance. Chapter 2 is the longest chapter in the game, and kind of terribly, I would say, is also one of the most reset heavy because there's a lot of very, very difficult skips inside of it. And we're going to be coming up to one of those right
This
now in
ancient
Waterfalls
city
with Karta.
occupies many
This one
lands.
skip alone probably took me about 25 hours to get with any type of consistency and figure out how it worked. So let's hope it works out good here. So we're going to stand on thin air on top of this statue. Pay no attention to the fact that I'm just in air. It's fine. It's fine. Alright. Very precise launch here. Okay, we actually got it, which is good. Still got to do the second part, though. Okay. So the hard part here is, like, it's not always about how to get out of bounds. Sometimes the most difficult parts of these are how to get back in bounds. And that's definitely the case there. Getting across the chasm and then getting back in bounds from where I was at without triggering the arena in the middle of that stage took an extraordinary amount of time. This is like another quick arena skip. Skips over a bunch of climbing as well. This spider has given me a lot of problems in practice, so hopefully he'll cooperate this time. I don't know if it's a he or a she. I shouldn't assume that because I'm not a bug expert, so... Who likes arachnophobia? Campy, have you seen the perennial classic 8-Legged Freaks?
Oh yes, it's a cult classic from where I live. Everyone loves it.
Bit of trivia. So, Epicite, do you know in the movie 8-Legged Freaks what they kill the alien spider invaders with?
I'm too young to know that movie, I think. When did it come out?
Wow, this is... So this is the problem that I had before, which is that I'm not sticking to the invisible bridge that's supposed to be there. So, this is taking a little longer than it should. There we go, got
Sweet. So when did that movie come out again, by the way?
it.
Early 2000s?
I would say late 90s.
Yeah, like it's
If you're in the chat, let us know what the answer is.
I was born in
And,
92,
we'll,
dude.
I don't know.
I was
Maybe-
like a kid back then.
that movie's so wacky.
Maybe the Super Mick Gamer will give you a shout out.
What's up, Super McGamer?
Hey, Turbo, here's a question for
The
you.
chat would like to report 2069. Thank you, Twitch chat, for being helpful as always.
Yes. Turbo, what the heck's the plot of this game, by the way?
So you play as Gabriel Belmont. His wife was recently murdered by the evil that roams these lands, as he says. And the spirits of the dead are not finding rest. So the order that Gabriel is a part of decides to send him. It is
Ecclesia?
impossible to climb up here. You better find an alternate way. I disagree with the game's assessment on a number of levels.
You did it. You fell in a hole.
We have-
no.
We do have a report that the movie came out in 2002.
Ooh, wow. On blast.
2002. How old was I back then?
10.
I was like 9.
We're in there.
Reminder to those of you out there, the Epic Kai has never played Resident Evil 2. So be
crying
sure
shame.
to fill his inbox with hate mail.
I'm deleting my Twitter.
Who is this strange girl? Surely she
Oh,
could
man.
not-
Ramen Fuego.
So it's great in Castlevania because it always seems like your wife dies and then like just revenge and all this turmoil and evil happens. Like,
Hey, that's not entirely true. In Haunted Castle, he just steals your wife.
okay, but a lot of stuff revolves around your wife.
Look at Rondo of Blood. Dracula just steals like 3 women and locks them up.
This is true. Rondo of Blood. What another good game.
Backflip to win.
This is true.
So the order dispatches you. You find that when you disable the first Titan at the Oblivion Lake, you talk to your wife, and your wife's like, yo, pick up the Mask of the Gods and save the world from the Lords of Shadow. And this old guy from your order, Zobek's like, praise be to God, do that, blah. And he's like, I'm going to go ahead and prepare our way in the realm of the vampires. You go ahead and get the mask fragment from the Lord of the Lycans. And we'll meet up. So right now, I'm trying to make my way into the realm of the Lycan Lord.
Be sure to keep those nations coming in, folks, for direct relief. We are currently $53 away from the big 3,000. So if anybody wants to help us push over there, $5 will get us along quickly right there, real quick. Sorry, I was mystified by your overwhelming power against these spiders.
Yeah, this is killing these imps may speed this up a little bit. If this was a New Game Plus non-full power run, I wouldn't be able to use this strategy as an example, because I'd be wasting way too many resources. But by doing this, I can save like 2 seconds or something.
That really does not seem worth it at all.
So, let me go ahead and into the next
Fate
stage.
has played
Sanctuary
its
Entrance,
hand,
one of the
and now
fastest
the
levels
die is
inside of the
set.
game.
I knew.
It's supposed to be you running around the stage for about 10 minutes, gathering pieces of a dark crystal, and then opening the gate with said dark crystal, and then solving another puzzle, again with said dark crystal.
Screw that. Go out of bounds.
Yeah, we're just going to jump over the door. That seems much more reasonable for somebody of Gabriel's patience. And then we're going to go ahead and go over the puzzle door too.
The 3 companions enter the
So,
chamber
next
of the
Titan.
Titan.
We're once again going to be going back to the Dark Crystal. Had I not used the Dark Crystals here, you'd basically just be hitting the ruins on them. I believe it's 10 times to break a ruin. Alright.
Shadow of the Colossus-esque.
Oh man. That's a big girl Titan? Question mark?
That headdress is pretty sick.
Now that you mention it, it's kind of like almost Egyptian inspired.
Yeah.
Now's your chance. Climb up.
I never actually noticed that.
So is this your favorite 3D Castlevania game?
I'm
Since there's
trying to think. Yes, I believe so.
This is a pretty good one.
Castlevania 64, Legacy
being
of Darkness, Curse of Darkness,
That being said, I don't think there's really
Isn't there
that many good
Lambda?
3D Castlevania
Lament of
games.
Innocence,
Lament of Innocence, yeah. I was like, I know there's one more. I always forget.
Leon Belmondo.
For a bit
I
of,
want to go live in the Tower of Sorcery from Castlevania 64. That place is great.
False.
for a bit of context, I think that the only 2 bad Castlevania games I feel are Castlevania The Adventure, which is the first game on Game Boy,
Oh yeah, that one's bad.
and Lords of Shadow Mirror of Fate.
Man, that Titan took
Oh,
a
is that the 3DS one?
That is the 3DS.
Okay, yeah. That was a bad one.
We don't talk about Mirror of Fate.
Oh man.
The Castlevania Adventure. What a game.
Shoutouts to Church and Sarge, who is a Lords of Shadow 2 speedrunner who has also routed and run Mirror of Fate. Lords of Shadow 2 is a pretty cool run as well. It's not nearly as abusive as this game, because the New Game Plus in that game doesn't have like double jump and stuff. But still a nice little run.
So Turbo, what game are you looking forward to the most here at CaliCon this year?
It's an
You asked
interesting
us.
question.
Yeah.
Your turn.
You put us on the spotlight.
You put me on blast, dude.
He's
Now your
tired
turn.
over. He's got to go
I
work in the
know
morning.
Kai has actually been putting quite a bit of time in to Richter, so hopefully that donation incentive gets met.
I broke 3 D-pads in 1 month.
Okay, listen. It might be also partially fueled by the fact that you might just break your D-pad.
I PB'd twice, though, after countless hours.
Don't mess up this QTE. Don't do it at all. Nope, don't do it. Don't miss it.
Do the thing.
Yeah, that's like a
Headshot.
30 time loss if you miss that. The bosses in this game have this annoying thing where sometimes if you miss a QTE, you can just lose minutes. So let's not mess those up.
Now, TurboDog, did you get your $5 donation in to win Drake and Josh for the Game Boy Advance?
No.
What
even
are you
though-
waiting for?
No, the funny thing, Konosumi is actually a local boy near where I live. We haven't been able to set up anything as far as a dual stream yet, but maybe something for the future.
MC, where's your $5 to get the Drake and Josh game?
As a contracted employee with directly, I cannot win such a holy game.
I would like to see this contract.
Wow.
It is a sealed near mint copy, I hear, of Drake and Josh.
That's what I heard. I heard it has the Y seal and everything.
Yeah, no.
So all you collectors
can play.
out
It does
there.
Drake and Josh this game. We discovered earlier when we read the box.
What's the rating on that?
Megan.
It's rated M for Megan.
So
Spin to win.
this is just a basic fight against the Dark Knight. This is who I'm supposed to get the gauntlet that I've been punching the ground with, by the way.
Oh, you steal it off of him.
No.
No, it's a
How
drop,
can
man.
he-
It fell off. See?
How can I
ripped
be
it off.
stealing it from him?
You ripped it off him.
Yeah, you ripped it off. But then he picked it up, so it's a drop, not a steal.
I get you. I get you.
Listen, I'm appalled that you would think a man of the order of Gabo Belmont's prestige would cheat or steal
I mean, look
or
at.
possibly avoid conflict.
I mean,
Dreams
little
are a
Simon's
gateway
going to tell
the
us all
mind,
that
and now
he's not a
Gabriel.
cheater. He's going to do his little jumps.
What is a campy? Nothing but a little pile of secrets.
So I guess we can kind of talk a little bit more about high jumping. Holy Water is probably one of the most important sub-weapons inside the game, not only because it's very powerful against a bunch of different enemies, but it also allows you to gain height during high jumps. Other things that are really good are obviously the double jump, but also the Avalanche Punch. This guy is a hero. We're just going to do this.
You made
That
him
happens
fruit punch.
sometimes. But yeah, the Avalanche Punch, which is the one where I'm in the air and I kind of punch at the ground. But there's a lot of contextual ones that can gain you height as well. Like the one where I kind of slam down at an angle, it's called Landslide Punch. You can use that to extend the very last bit of your high jumps to reach platforms that you're just barely going to miss. There is also a recently discovered infinite jump. I'm going to be attempting a skip using that once in this run. However, I have not gotten the chance to practice it extensively on the PC version of this game.
So you're playing on PC. This originally came out on PS3, 360. Why is it better on the PC?
Frame rate.
Okay.
And load times, of course. But the PS3, which is the first one that I ran this on, it gets 30 FPS if you're lucky. Like, it really struggles. Like, this game looks great. I think it looks fantastic. But it doesn't run great. They maybe stretch themselves a bit thin there with good old Hideo Kojima.
A question about basic speed tech. Those flaming footprints, is that part of an upgrade or is that just normally in the game?
That is the Cyclone Boots, which is an upgrade that you're supposed to get at the end of this chapter from the Dark Lord of the Lycans. We are going to be meeting him here. Normally you have to get 3 fairies in order to open up that door by running around the stage.
Gabriel has fought
So
long
here's
and
the
hard
first
to get to this point.
Dark Lord, the Dark Lord of the Lycans, Cornell. We're good friends with Cornell though, and he's really mad at us. So we're gonna avoid the situation. We're gonna de-escalate. Have you heard that term before? Have you heard the term de-escalate?
No, but I've heard of going out of bounds though.
All right, so we'll go this way. And by doing this setup, we land on an invisible wall and jump through. And we're just gonna, you know what? He can just hang out there. We don't need the mask piece, okay? We'll just move on. We'll just catch an eagle, go to the Crow Witch.
The deed is done.
I mean, how powerful
Cornell
can this
is
mask
no
really be,
more.
right? Like,
You're very much a pacifist. I appreciate you, Turbo.
I mean, he appreciates it too. That's why he gave me his boots.
Yeah, he's pretty. You're just a swell fellow in this game.
So the boots are the fastest, like, kind of overall movement that we have inside of the game. Jumping preserves momentum as far as we can tell. So that's why you see me jump at the end of kind of my run sequence. You only run about 7 steps. Stand on top of an invisible wall here. And skip a climbing sequence there. That's like a 20-second sequence of him climbing all around that tower that we're just going to get rid of. Speaking of skipping stuff, we are going to be skipping another boss, the Ogre here coming up, and a Chupacabra. Chupacabras are meant to be a puzzle platforming segment thing. What Chupacabras do is they steal all of your relics and you're supposed to chase after them and complete kind of puzzle challenges to reclaim them. For the premise of a speedrun, that's quite slow. If everything goes right, you will see none of them. If something doesn't go right, then you'll see one. So this is what I mean by oftentimes you are in a position where you cannot see where you are.
It seems like you're fighting with the camera most of the time when...
Yeah, I have no camera control as I'm doing this. So I just have to move in pre-prescribed ways that I know will lead me to the best chances of success. If I move even a little bit off of like kind of my designated path, I will either take a death or infinitely fall. If I infinitely fall, my only option at that point is to restart from checkpoint. And some of the checkpointing in this game, because of how we're skipping things, is not great.
It is a sad
Crow
tale of
Witch.
the witch who guards this fortress.
So Crow Witch is a place where I could potentially gain 40 seconds on like my PB, but it relies on a luck-based strat called the Omelet.
The omelet?
You'll see. It's great.
Is it tasty?
Yes. It's made with 4 eggs.
4.
3 or 4 eggs.
3 or 4? Man.
It's just user's preference.
Okay. I see.
TurboDog, favorite omelet stuffing.
Family omelets. Am I like hungry or am I going for taste?
You're going for taste right now.
Taste. Green pepper, spinach, cheese, and then really it just kind of depends on what type of like spiced meats I would like at the time, but a little bit of that as well.
Perfect. Now everybody, make sure you all donate. Let us know your favorite omelet, and we will read that later.
Bacon bits with provolone.
Spinach and feta, man. It's good.
Where's my tomato lovers? No
I like tomato. I like tomato.
Give me my tomato.
You gotta dice them and put them on
That's
top.
what my ketchup's for, dude.
So by doing a normal jump here, we actually save our double jump during this platforming segment. This is a new improvement that I've done to this route that wasn't even in segmented. Hopefully we can get it to pay off here. It skips a small climbing sequence going around this pillar. There we go. And I mean, that's the thing, is like a lot of these things are enormous skips that are very hard to do, but as I've gotten better at the game, you know, you get better at games, you start implementing the small stuff. It's important not to...
Pretty sure you're about to see why this is called the omelet.
That looked like a stinky egg.
We are not. So that's kind of a conditional strat where depending on when the camera kind of slows down and where he throws the eggs and where you are in position to space, you can grab multiple eggs and throw them back at the Crow Witch to do more damage. Unfortunately, the game was like kind of loading in such a way that I couldn't throw more back. So we're going to have a slightly longer fight here, but this is still pretty much on pace for what I would expect. Here's an example of a double egg. And the reason why we call it the omelet is if you throw 3 or 4 eggs, you can turn this from a 3-phase fight into a 2-phase fight. But as mentioned, since we only got the single egg, we're going to be going 3-phase here.
This reminds me of like a Pokemon seismic toss move. Bang, bro.
All right. Wow. What a boss.
What a hero, dude.
For the queen.
Full the hold.
Alright, so we're using Ultimate Shadow here to get rid of this guy. If you spend too much time killing Crow Witch's children, she does Crow Storm. Crow Storm wastes like 4 to 8 seconds.
Our good friend Starwin coming back in with $5 more saying, omelet du fromage.
Shout out to Starwin.
We gave her a couple 2-egg breakfasts.
Congratulations, Starwin. You've now entered for the Drake and Josh.
I secretly hope you win.
He deserves it.
Does anybody in this marathon know where the copy of Drake and Josh for the Game Boy Advance is so we can have that on camera at some point?
Constantly on camera. But the question is does Drake and Josh have a Konami's Best logo?
Oh, man.
Can we get that box?
The best of Konami's collection.
Oh, man. We might be going, listen, we might be going too deep. These polls might be too much for the average viewer.
How easy is
So
it to
it
get into this
seems
game,
time
Turbo?
to
Like
save the
learning
game.
your Is there like
If
a
you
Discord and
spoke to
everything?
me,
If you spoke to you.
I might be able to teach somebody a little bit. But honestly, like, until I get a dedicated tutorial of this game, it's very difficult. It's just the things aren't really particularly documented that well, as I mentioned. Like this, for example, isn't documented well at all.
If you guys know Turbo very well, you guys know he did a really long tutorial of Symphony of the Night speedrunning. Very detailed and all that. This game did not have any of that when he started. And I spent like 3 months watching it trying to figure out what the heck did he just do, and I still can't figure out most of it.
Well, that's a lot of games Turbo picks up, like Silent Hill Homecoming. Like he's like, okay, there's this wall. I'm gonna walk into it with my gun. Wait, well, shotgun's gonna work a little better. Let's try this.
Where am I?
Where are you?
Question mark?
Okay. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and restart from checkpoint. So that was a strat that I wanted to try to implement. That was using the infinite jump.
Down, 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 down.
Normally, you just fall into the cutscene if you fail it. But I landed on top of a piece of geometry that, as I mentioned, game knowledge is really important when it comes to collision in this game, and that's a piece of collision that I was unfamiliar with. So we're just going to do this the intended way. You get to hang out with the first and only Chupacabra we're going to see inside of this game. So he stole all of our artifacts, that's why we're rolling everywhere. Very Zelda-esque.
They see me rolling, they hating.
We're joined, everybody, by the wonderful Sleepy Time Jeff.
Sleepy time, Jeff.
That's a very rare costume.
Cosplay.
Takes a while to unlock. I hold it in my hands. Mint factories.
It would appear that Jeff is trying to shill the Drake and Josh
Hello?
game.
Hi.
There we go.
Trade me. Ladies and gentlemen, I hold in my hands something you can donate for. If you donate a mere $5 today, you'll be entered in the running to win a factory sealed in-box copy of Nickelodeon's Drake and Josh for the Game Boy Advance. Drake and Josh already have enough trouble with school girls and their crafty little sister Megan, who was always playing pranks on them.
Megan.
She actually got. I was about to ask him for the blurb on that. Actually, you know,
Oh,
don't
she
tell us.
is.
No. Don't tell us the story. I want
Nope.
you to take the bullet points and list those off for the crowd.
There's like one sentence and then it goes to the bullet points.
The bullet points are important. You can just skip that one. You're giving away all the lore.
Don't get splattered in the wildest food fest ever. Play as both Drake and Josh.
Bro.
As the name might suggest. Help Drake charm all the girls with his guitar.
Was that the only blurb?
That's it. It's made by THQ. What a shock.
What are we currently doing in the run? I'm sorry for our Drake and Josh
$5.
shenanigans.
$5. You donate. You want this game? $5. You might get it.
Yes, you want it. It's right next to Turbo Dog's head.
All right, Turbo, what's going on now?
I was gonna say he's like. I got somebody pantomiming in front of me, and I didn't know if it was for me or for the game that's obviously above my head at this point.
Here at Calathon, we are very appreciative of every single meme that we have. We'd like to share all these memes with you. Memes.
This is Wygall Village. We're immediately going to go out of bounds and
That's a
leave
cool
these
house over
people
there.
to their fate. That was Wygall Village. Abbey
Shadow.
Catacombs. So I'm going to try to do the segmented strat for this level. Little dangerous, but if we fail it, it's not a big deal. We'll just go ahead and do the normal strat.
Careful, Gabriel. This is not going to be so easy.
So very important that I don't really use a lot of holy water here, because if I use too much, I could end up killing the vampires, and if I kill the vampires, then it will take control away from me and lock my movements. Where am I?
The music just died.
This game is being extremely bizarre at places, but I guess that's just the way it works.
Careful, Gabriel. This is not going to be so easy.
Like, I could be one of those guys that's like, that's never happened before, but I know it's happened before. Because, like I said, in all the time that I've taken to learn this game, I've seen so many ways things can go wrong in this game that nothing really surprises me anymore.
I can confirm that. Countless hours of me chilling with Turbo on Discord watching this at the same time.
Meet the same fate.
So you're supposed to solve a portal puzzle here in order to get to the other side of the
There
gate
is
and
a
continue on to the
strange device
library.
There must be
But
some
we're just
way
going to
of
hop over
knocking
this
the
gate.
drill
It's
down.
fine. It's fine.
The traps laid
Abbey
by the
Library,
abbot
so
have
this
proved
is
tricky, and yet
probably my favorite stage in the game. And it's because you get to see a little bit of an insight into how this game was made. If anybody is familiar with modeling or game design, this should look incredible to you. Okay, so we're going to try another segmented strategy here. This one's reasonably okay. It's maybe the least confident way that I could have put that, but you know, we do what we can. Wow. So the difficult part here is that there's a pillar that is blocking my ability to curve around it. And since we are not curving around it here, we are going to go in bounds instead and complete a puzzle. much like some of the other games that I have played before, like, the hard part is getting the skips. You know what I mean? Like, if you were to do a run that got every skip first try, that would be a phenomenal accomplishment in and of itself. Your goal in this is basically just to increase your chances of accomplishing that goal as much as you can.
The tower at the Abbey of Wygol was once a place where...
We do have a quick donation to bring in here.
Go for it.
It's from our friend Bacon, in parentheses, 3D Castlevanias are bad, Copter,
Oh, man.
with $5 saying, give me that Drake and Josh with 10 H's.
That first guy's comment isn't wrong.
I think they just don't understand a good game when they see it.
I mean, look at this glitchy nonsense, man. Of course it's a bad game, right? But thanks to all this glitchiness, man, it's a more interesting run than just doing a glitchless where he has to solve all these puzzles and waste all that time. So there's heads and tails, double-edged sword here.
Well, what's great about this game is it's probably so cheap. You can just pick it up.
I think it's still like
Funny
10 bucks.
enough, actually, it's not. For some reason, Konami is just like, yeah, this game should cost still like $20 for some
That's
reason.
insane.
It does go on sale relatively.
Dude, CVHD's cheaper than that, and that's a more fun game.
Oh, man.
That was a fun game last Caliphone.
Everybody
submitted it to this
enjoyed the
Calathon.
hour, the
Only
hour
I
of
submitted to
looking at the
Julius
screen.
and they got rejected.
I wonder why.
I forgot to record the run and then put it on the submission.
So to kind of discuss the rest of this, we're in the realm of the vampires now, and we're trying to make our way into the Abbey in order to get a hold of a holy relic that is strong against the vampires. It's the holy water. We are now going to steal it from an old blind man at the top of this tower, like a huge hero.
Wow.
So this is how you're supposed to get this.
And then we're going to go ahead and fight Bronner. And it turns out that Bronner's been hitting the juice since Portrait of Ruin.
The power to defeat
Because
the
he's
vampires
quite
is
a bit
now in
bigger.
our hands, and that
He's on quite a bit of gas.
This is art!
So first we got to clear out his vampire minions. As you'll see here, holy water does a number on them. One holy water brings them into a grab killable state. The second kills them off. If you hit them as they're spawning, they die instantly. And this is Bronner.
Wow, he looks so much bigger.
That looks more like true Dracula from Final
Yeah.
Boss POR.
He put down the brushes and picked up the protein.
He's so big. Shouts to POR. What a good game.
How much steroids does this dude pump it, dude?
All of this. It's more than you would think, but less than you could possibly imagine.
So how far after POR does this take?
Wow, okay. Here you go, guys. This is for the chat. There you go. You get to see a cool counterattack thing.
Sweet.
So Ultimate Light actually does more DPS if you're able to get a guy in a corner and force him to take hits constantly. Ultimate Shadow does more damage per hit, but since it has that slowdown associated with it, it can be slower compared to a corner trap with Ultimate Light.
Wygol village is safe for now.
Alright, Castle Sewers. So now we're actually breaking our way into the castle now that we've cleared one of the lieutenants of the vampires and saved Wygol village from Bronner. Once again, standing on top of invisible walls in geometry, very powerful. Gabbo's all about that out-of-bounds life.
Despite his best
Are you
efforts
about
to
that
try
out-of-bounds
entering
life,
the
Kai?
castle on
All the games I play, I always had an out of bounds. Out of bounds or zipping out of nowhere.
Campy's not about that out-of-bounds life because he speedruns Resident Evil 2.
Yeah, you just run straight lines. So you get the perfect line, you just keep going. So Soten's been crazy for me because there's a lot of craziness in that game.
Which category?
I just do 20%. I don't care. Richter was too much. I was like, this is too much for me.
So this is kind of a precise jump to land inside of that kind of tower, but also on a little lip inside of it. Conversely, if I didn't, I could potentially hit in there normally, but after we get inside of this chimney, we restart, so we start in the air. That also refreshes our double jump, so we can just jump out of this arena. Nice use of fairies in the upcoming place here in order to distract these skeletons that are going to spawn. Normally they would interrupt you as you're cranking this, but by using fairies we can stop them from doing that.
We did get another quick $5 donation in from So Far So Good saying, I shamelessly want to get my grimy hands on that sweet Drake and Josh for the Game Boy Advance. Thank you very much for your donation to Direct Relief.
It's okay if you have grimy hands also when you pick up that game.
That's why it's sealed.
You know why? Yeah.
It seems getting into the castle will be
These segues are so good. They're my favorite.
Guard.
I'm really sad we don't get to hear the full map music or the chapter select music. It seems like it's a banger.
There's a lot of really good music in this game if you're just looking at kind of orchestral tracks. Nothing like... 1 second. Nothing like, say, a Rondo of Blood or something where you like maybe listen to it outside of the context of the game, but it's good music. Speaking of kind of 3D games, we're going to be having Legacy of Kain Defiance coming up next after me, is my understanding, by Worm Talon. That's a game that I have recently kind of looked into and picked up a little bit, so hope to be assisting on commentary a little bit for that to give you guys a little bit of insight in that game as well. It's another fantastic game with tons of sequence breaks. Those of you that have never picked up the other vampire series known as Legacy of Kain, gameplay is not stellar in most of the titles, except in like Soul Reaver 2 and Defiance. But the story is fantastic. And Defiance itself has a pretty incredible speedrun when it comes to like glitches and general speed tech. So definitely check that out when you get a chance.
You are riding a spider. What is
Spooters.
going on?
So, Campy, you know what has really, really good modeled spiders for the time it came out?
Eight-legged freaks?
Resident Evil 2.
Dude, they're so hairy.
It's pretty accurate.
They're very hairy.
Remember that part inside of the sewer in RE2 where like you're
No.
about to put in the bishop plugs or like split off into the side character? And then there's that stupid spider that's like runs across the wall. And you just dodge him instantly.
Yeah, you're putting in the emblems like the wolf and the lion one. Yeah, he's just chilling. He can either be on the side or the top, and then he just starts spitting.
Oh
out.
no, I'm talking about the
Time
where the
is
bishop
running
plugs
out.
are, like
Night
that
is
door,
almost upon us.
or where you put like the
Soon
chess
dark.
pieces.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and there's that spider on the side that just like is like ho, and he comes down the.
He's a
tower.
jerk.
So once again, we're going to distract these vampires with fairies. This is a bit more important because these guys run at you quick, and you have to crank a lot. This crank was our old partner, you know.
I appreciate it, Turbo.
All right, so
I feel like you'd be a big fan of Resident Evil 7 for all the out of bounds. It's a neat game.
I have actually not gotten to RE7 yet, and there's one reason for that, and that's because I really, really want to play
She has the
Rev 2
body of an
first,
innocent
and I just
child,
haven't gotten an
yet the
opportunity
wits
to set up with my friend.
Rev 2 is
Since,
really good.
hey Capcom, why did you make Rev 2 only local co-op? Why'd you do that? Why you do this thing?
Rev 2 is really good, though. Rev
It
1
does
was-
look really good.
It was so fun.
Rev 1's... sure. Not a fan.
I had a bunch of fun with it on the 3DS because there was only just like 4, 5, and 6 out, and I was like, man, I just want something fun. and Rev came out, and I was like, this is spooky. This is good. And then Rev
It's
2
like RE4, except, you know,
Better.
there's absolutely nowhere to run. It's just hallways.
This is true. I like the
No,
monsters in it. They were spooky. But I played it on the 3DS first, so I was just like, this is really good.
Yeah, I mean, I guess in context for like a portable game.
Yeah,
it's
no,
alright,
I was
but
super about
I
it.
played like the Steam release, so
Oh, okay.
I was
No, I get
not
you.
happy with it.
Yeah. No, I get you. But Rev 2 is really solid. I had a lot of fun with it.
Please get out of the way. Thank you. So we just jumped over a door and skipped over a boss called the Butcher in here. Again, listen. We're being the most heroic coward that we can be right now, okay?
You're speed matting, dude.
It's very hard to be this cowardly.
The butcher who commanded the castle kitchens fed.
I mean, society's coming at you all the way, and they're like, hey, you gotta be heroic and stuff, and you gotta do things the right way. You gotta have heart. No, I just wanna jump over walls. Can you just give me the masks? Is that something you can do for Gabbo? Do it for me. Do it for the Gabbo.
My question is, when's the anime for Gabbo Belmondo?
I mean, there should be. He is legitimately the strongest Belmont. And I know there's going to be someone inside of the chat that's going to be like, no, it's Julius, or no, it's Richter. No, it's... By the end of this game,
I'm sorry, dude, but
Gabbo
Gabbo
Belmont.
can punch the air and
Yeah,
fly.
just keep
No
going
other
up.
Belmont can do that.
He just chills. He uses holy water to gain it as well. It's like, what the heck?
I mean,
So we're all in agreement that the
Oh, yeah.
Castlevania anime was pretty amazing.
It was
It
amazing,
was-
but it would be better with Gabbo.
Oh, it'd be better with him, but it was very well done. Like for only being like what 3
This
episodes.
part of
It was
the
okay.
castle was once where
I'm
the
not gonna say my
animation's
favorite
good.
line in-
It's. I will say this: it's better than I thought it was.
Oh
gonna
no,
be.
it's I put it at a 4 out of
Definitely.
10. At first I was like, man, this is gonna be bad. It hit a solid 7 out of 10. I was like, this is great.
Speaking of surprisingly great things, I have a $5 donation that's surprisingly great coming in from the Wise Carrot saying, awesome thing you all do. Love the stream. And thank you. We really appreciate it.
Sweet.
Love you too.
See, I had this prepared commentary for like all this technical stuff with this game, but I'm actually audibling it right now and just talking about stuff because you know what, we're here pretty late, just trying to keep energy at a reasonable level.
We have Drake and Josh for the Game Boy Advance. What type of energy do we need? We have the greatest energy in the world.
You have a meme lord right next to you. I'm talking about MC though, not me.
MC is the meme lord. That's what the
Are
M
you
stands
actually
for.
a meme? Like
No,
is that something?
Hey, why don't
It's
we
do you
meme
get like?
champion.
why don't we talk about how cool
MC.
this game is?
Do you get like knighted for that, or
Yeah. Yes.
like who holds the sword? Is it a sword? I have so many questions now.
It's probably a
He
lit
obtained the
noodle.
basic meme lord level by being crowned by 9gag.
Oh no.
Don't speak such words in this holiest of
BuzzFeed got
charity
him.
marathons.
Holy, I'm in Dracula's castle right now watching this.
Just casually doing one of the hardest boss skips in the game, by the way. It's
well
all
done. Well
good.
done.
Yeah, it's casual.
So that's a lens that we're supposed to use in the
Gabriel
Chromatic
has finally
Observatory.
defeated
Chromatic Observatory, you're supposed to use
Frankenstein's
the device in the
abomination.
center, mixing colors and lights in order to open up doors for keys to open up this door. But listen, we're gonna get chastised here very soon once I do this door skip. So I'm gonna need some quiet once we get over this. I'm basically going to use the game to predict the comments for the YouTube video for this game. Alright. Let's go ahead and get here. So once again, using Guillotine's properties of kind of sticking to some terrain in order to do this skip. Alright.
Good luck coming up here.
It's not fair. I never lose. You're a cheat. And You're going to pay.
Oh no, the Twin Galaxies mods. They're coming for me.
Oh no.
Now, play with my toys.
So I think my favorite copy pasta that I love throwing out there every once in a while. Completely in jest, of course. I mean, you know, we call them exploits. We call it speed tech. We call it sequence breaking. Let's just call it what it is, right? Cheating. Right? That's
How dare you break my toys?
so very important that I don't kill these guys with actual damage from Ultimate Shadow. So I dropped the Ultimate Shadow there because of that. The reason for that is if I kill them with that, they regenerate. I need to kill them with this command grab. I just called it a command grab. It's a QTE grab.
A huge thanks, by the way, as we finish up these monsters here, that we are currently over 5,000 viewers. Thank you all for joining us here on this evening. We are raising money for Direct Relief, an awesome charity that delivers medical aid across the world. We are having TurboDog, Rocks and Castlevania. Got some great games coming up tonight. Got Legacy of Kain and Shrek Extra Large. Look forward to that one. You got him.
If you got any bad vampire jokes or vampire puns, I am sure that Super McGamer would love to read them off.
What's up, Meme Commander over there? How are you doing?
That's what MC stands for.
Curious, isn't it? Love can be a powerful...
Why do vampires need bad breath?
Give me it. Give me the thing. Give
Good
me the
thing.
goo. Give me the joke goo. What is it?
I don't know.
Oh.
Bum, bum, ba-da.
Wah, wah, wah.
So, like, I heard that in marathons now, they allow the runner to, like, have a foot pedal or, like, a big button for splitting. Could we get that for the runner, like, in, like, later years? Or for the commentators in later years, where they just have a button that does the Price is Right sound?
Wah, wah,
Is that-
boom.
I'm getting a no from the tech station.
I don't think they're even listening to you, so forget it.
They're doing some
Guys, if
magic
you
hand
want,
motions.
if you want to see that, make sure to donate.
They're doing-
Internet, is it asking too much to get a
they're
Price
just
is Right
pointing
button
and
in a
just
charity marathon to put runners on blast by other people in the community? Am I asking too much?
Don't we do that every day on stream anyways? In our own streams, I should say.
So once again, we're going to be trying to stop these imps using fairies, hoping for the best. That allows us to get through this gate without having to clear them. This is called the Holy Cross Breakout. What happened there is a move called Holy Cross that you can use in light magic mode. That allows me to what's called break out of the animation of picking up the key off of the body. Since that allows me to move when I should be stationary, I'm able to leave that room before it would normally lock on me. Breakouts are a pretty common tech in 3D action games. I suppose I should talk a little bit about magic since I mentioned the sub-weapons. Light magic, which is the blue magic, allows you to drain health basically. When you deal damage, you get health. Red magic is shadow magic, and that allows you to deal extra damage. You build magic by either draining from elemental fonts or continuing varied combos in order to build up a charge
The
meter
vampire's
and then
mercy
absorbing
is
neutral
playing
orbs.
on his thoughts.
This is the Clockwork Tower. We are going to be attempting a boss skip here. It may work, it may not. We're also going to be attempting a platforming skip as well. You'll notice a lot of times I mention attempts on things, and again, that's just, this game's really hard. Even if it may not seem like it with how much of it I'm skipping. But it's just, everything in this game is so precise in order to get to work. Akion, who's a well-regarded glitch finder and speedrunner for the God of War series, when he first saw me working on this, he was like, wow, it's really cool to see somebody working on this for RTA, but you picked a hell of a game to start with. So...
Now that I think about my history of speedrunning, I pretty much learned 2 runs from Turbos himself.
Nice.
Any percent Soten, Alucard, No Safe Corruption, and CBHD.
So we got the platforming skip I was referring to, and I went for a little cheeky skip there where you can slide across this banister, but that one's kind of hard to do. We're going to skip the second third of the clock tower here by grabbing this rope and initiating the boss. So this is Frankenstein's monster. We did not see them previously. Can I let go of that? Thank you. I do need to grab this on this side in order for this strat to maybe work. It looks like we might have 2 tries at it. This is RNG because it depends on the boss's pattern. That
Mecha
is lucky.
spider.
I have to be luck. Alright, follow me, idiot. Oh god,
Oh,
he's
no.
not following me right. Yeah, okay, so we aren't going to get it. If he follows you around there, you can kind of lead him around in the circle and spawn the platform. That being said, that's only the first part. The next bit of luck is his enemy pattern in order to allow you to do a super jump over the invisible wall and to the elevator that gets raised because of that. It's okay though, you know, that's... You learn to accept sometimes inside of speedrunning that there's going to be skips that are just out of your control. You can always improve your chances to get them, but, you know, it's... A lot of speedrun is kind of coping with mistakes and making the best out of them, especially when you're talking about a no reset or a marathon setting. Funny enough, you can actually reach the top of this clock tower using the infinite jump glitch, but there's no trigger to end the stage until you crank this crank and raise this platform.
Which is actually a wise decision in terms of game design.
I mean, is it? Because, so like, let me talk a little bit about game design as far as speedrunning, right? I am of the firm belief that you should only patch something in a game if it would affect the casual gameplay experience. Like, that's kind of a... It's not 100% true, but it's a blanket statement. This is Olrox. This is a very, very technical skip. This took me probably about 100 hours to learn. Not even kidding. It's still luck dependent. That was really close, but I didn't quite get it. The main issue here is getting enough height that I can get over that gate. And Olrox can move in such a way that he manipulates the camera to make it basically impossible to do the skip. So there is a little bit of luck involved with this. And this is not looking good. Okay. Nice, got it.
The blood of
Alright.
Olrox has opened the
So
way
second try is
to
really good for that.
How much time does that save?
That fight is, I believe, 4.5 minutes.
Jesus.
Maybe even more. Actually, the fight's 4.5 minutes, and then I think the puzzle after it to get past the door is another minute 30. So it is an enormous skip.
Second try, I would take that too. Especially in marathon setting.
Yeah, definitely.
Hey, a quick reminder as we're doing some battling here, we are currently, one of our upcoming incentives is the bonus silly run for sub-level 0. We've currently got only $5 in on that. We need $50 to have that unlocked, and that game's happening tonight, and probably just around under 4 hours we'll begin going on that, so you want to get that unlocked. $45 more all we need. Make your donation tonight at Tiltify by going and hitting the donate button on the Calithon Twitch page.
So kind of talking about marathon events in general, I think one of the coolest things kind of coming into Calithon and seeing some of the smaller events, like a lot of people will say, I love seeing popular games, or there's a select group of people that are like, I love seeing the garbage games that people get, like the awful games done quick. The things that people spend all this time on are games that are great. Me, I love seeing games that I might not have heard of or thought might be a great speedrun and just seeing, like, I love seeing mediocre games or something that seems like it would be bad turn into a fantastic speedrun. Very important that I don't fail these QTEs. This is about 2.5 minutes lost if I miss them. So let's hope my controller doesn't disconnect or something like that. Ooh. It's also, like, these scenes are so cool looking. It's kind of a shame that they added the QTEs because, like, this game is visually stunning, I think. And it's a shame that you spend so much of these cutscenes just like, oh no, is the game gonna kill me? So you don't really get the opportunity to pay attention to them until, you know, you've passed it a few times. And everything's kind of good.
As our QTE continues, we have $14 more in from Teddy, saying the brown cannot be kept down. Brown Kirby will ride again. That is, of course, towards the Kirby, choose the Kirby color war, and I'm really proud of Brown Kirby for making that comeback right there.
What game is that for?
I don't know which Kirby game. Oh, Kirby's Air
Brown
Ride.
Kirby like a toasted marshmallow?
Yes.
Isn't that kind of dark?
Yeah.
I just, I didn't even mean to pun there either.
No,
it just kind of happened.
And by the way, we are $19 away from that big 3K. Who wants to be the big boy donor to push us over that? That'd be really appreciated.
Don't you get a prize for submitting like $20 in donation?
$30 is for the Funko Pop figures, as well as the Shovel Knight combo bundle. So if you want to round that up to 30, you're going to get entered in for some goodies. And of course, don't forget about Drake and Josh. Of course, that's
Y'all might as well get all those goodies and Drake and Josh.
I mean, you know, it's kind of bonus on top of the Drake and Josh entry, let's be honest here.
So we just defeated Carmella, who's the Dark Lord of the Vampires. We're going to take her ability to get double jump, which, because it's New Game Plus, we already have. At this point, if you were playing this game like New Game and did a speed run, the strategies would start to look pretty similar. It's just you'd have way less resources since you wouldn't be picking up the extra kind of ammunition stuff. With the advent of that infinite jump that I was mentioning before, it is actually possible to have a decent new game category in this game. Very, very difficult to accomplish, but it is possible now. And I've kind of thought about maybe getting into it, but not really sure yet if I want to make that happen. There's so many games that I'm interested in that, you know,
We did
choosing
get
your
that
battles is
$19 in, by
important.
the way, from Starwind. Starwind dropped that in
Yo,
19.
shoutouts.
So thank you for the $3,000 total.
3K!
Nice.
Yeah, Turbo, your list of wanting to play games is ever growing.
I wanted to bring a old arcade classic to this event called Roston Saga, but then I realized that I just wasn't going to have enough time to train that up. So who knows? Maybe for the next Calithon.
I remember that game.
If you want to have some top-tier humor, just look up the transition level screens for that game. Make sure it's Roston Saga, the JP one, the Japanese version. It's like I regret why I made such a promise, but it is too late to withdraw. Yeah.
I think I have them saved on my phone somewhere.
This is a Chupacabra Skip. So that is a Chupacabra Skip that, once again, probably took me about 25 to 30 hours to figure that one out. And that saves about a minute and a half. So once again, trying to exploit the double jump function to just, ooh, okay. I guess I probably used my double jump somewhere because it didn't activate there. That's fine. Lost 3 seconds compared to saving 2.
How many hours have you put into this game? Because you keep saying, like, oh, I put like 25 hours, maybe 100.
Enough.
Like,
I mean,
what's your ballpark?
I couldn't tell you. It's
There's
because
not
the
even a
thing is
ballpark?
it's all like, it's all contextual too. Like when backwards long jumping was discovered, that was the time where I was like, this game is now RTA viable. Like it was possible to do skips without it, but they were so hard and so inconsistent. That just really opened up the game for me. I keep going to the wrong chapter.
The stench of death is strong.
So this is my second favorite stage, Woes More, because once again, it gives you a little bit of insight into the game's actual design. So we are supposed to go around this stage picking up 3 keys and taking those to the witch Baba Yaga up in her fort on the top of there, so that we can gain access to her music box and fetch her the blue rose. These are the keys. They are underneath the level. And the way this works is there's supposed to be mini-bosses that you fight inside of the stage. And when you defeat a mini-boss, the key kind of raises out of the ground, and then you can pick it up. However, the keys exist even before you fight the bosses underneath it. So by getting underneath the ground, we're able to pick them up. Restart from checkpoints so that we respawn inbounds, and then continue on.
That seems like such a huge oversight.
Pay no attention to the crows. Stop looking at them. You're just encouraging them. So now we're going to come to everybody's favorite part of the speedrun, which is getting blue rose for Baba.
The old hag has
AKA
cast a spell
pretty
on
much an
Gabriel,
auto-scroller. This is one of 2 skips that I have been unable to confirm on PC. On the console versions of this game, it is possible to skip the music box with a very, very, very difficult technique. On PC, I have been unable to confirm that it works. So because of that, this is one of the few stages that is going to go slower than console. But we get to hear some sweet music. Nice little music box.
This is not the music I want to hear at this late hour.
Go to sleep.
So all this is just associating the cylinders that we're picking up with a trap and then setting them in a specific order so that they go off one after the other. So purple is going to be the rotating gear trap. So kind of speaking about this game and why I think this game's a 3 out of 5. There's some inconsistencies with the platforming in this game that are kind of issues. But more importantly, I feel like there was mistakes made with the combat, which you might go like, this is a character action game and the combat has problems. Like, how is this a 3 out of 5 and not just an abject failure? And that really comes with my view that like the rest of the product is so strong around the combat that I think it kind of is somewhat forgivable. Speaking of Lords of Shadow 2, that's another 3 out of 5 game. But the reason for that... what? Okay. That was weird. So, that torch didn't activate. I will have to investigate that at another time.
It seems like all the 3D Castlevania games have like that issue of just like platforming is just rough and combat's just kind of lackluster.
I feel like the platforming works most of the time in this game, but that's partially due to the fact that the platforming is almost scripted. You know what I mean? Like the things you can jump on are kind of set. Important to have some fun here.
What are you doing?
He's a maestro.
We're dancing, man.
Oh god, I see MC off screen doing dabs.
There's lies being spread inside this charity marathon this evening.
I don't know what you're talking about, man. I only speak the truth.
Anyway, so Lords of Shadow 2, I feel like they did a good job fixing most of the combat, but the rest of the product around it suffered. So, you know, one step forward, one step back, which is unfortunate.
Baba Yaga sent our hero to the Titan's graveyard.
Really, the main issues with the combat in Lords of Shadow 2 stem from the fact that the Chaos Gauntlets are way too strong, or they're way too good, and you want to use them as much as you can. But then you run into these, like, police riot armor mech things. It's a weird game when I say something like that. But there's like these police riot armor mechs that have shields that you need to break using the Chaos Gauntlets. But the problem is you need to use a sustained attack on them, and they like jump backwards and start flying. And it's really difficult to catch up with them, let alone when there's enemies attacking you as they do it. Still, as mentioned, interesting speed game, that one. I think I like this one better just because, again, the New Game Plus I think is better in this game. But Lords of Shadow 2 is not without its charms. That was fantastic how Gabriel just like ran into the wall and didn't grab the ledge, but such is life. Quick stomp. So Titan Graveyard is actually one of the hardest levels in the game because a lot of things can go wrong in it. It doesn't necessarily like kill you, but it can put you in positions that cost you quite a bit of time. So we're going to jump on top of this invisible wall, and then hopefully cross over an invisible arm that makes a bridge. Okay. We are then going to do a sweet whirly bird over this swamp. Those of you in chat, if you can spot Shrek in this swamp, put it out in chat. So that skip is actually really, really hard. I got pretty lucky that the positioning was good there. And we're looking for that camera change, which we got. That camera change loads the end of level trigger, and we can just kind of walk through the swamp to get to it. The reason that's very difficult is because of how that Titan's arm is kind of crooked. It oftentimes means that you will kind of run into the arm rather than around it and get on top. We're now fighting Pan, the old god. We need the blood of an old god to open the path to the Necromancer's realm for the final mask piece. This fight is supposed to kind of teach you mechanics leading into the end of the game. This first part is teaching you about parry, because he takes away your magic so that you can't kind of brute-force him. Luckily, he didn't take our Dark Crystal, so we did a little bit of damage with that. So Gabriel Belmont just breaks the arm of an old god here.
Swag.
So he gives us back our light power, but Pan can actually lose light magic as well. And this will come into play later in the game. But basically, if a person is charged with light magic, they can't be damaged by light magic. If they're charged with dark magic, they can't be damaged by dark magic. So this switching of magic polarities is a big factor in the final fight. And they try to teach that to you here. So that was actually pretty good luck, except for the flying attack. So we got to trap him in a corner with ultimate light. Hardest QTE in the game because it's moving and very fast.
Aw, man.
So the old god is dead. It is.
Man.
Yeah, it's a pretty quick QTE, but also the fact that it goes across the screen is one of the biggest issues.
If you guys want to see more teasers, actually finish this game yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to go fast.
We have a kind of a bigger donation here.
Nice.
I don't know what the rules are on what donation I'm going to read, but I can read. But as one of the charity reps, I declare this one readable. We have 42.
Well, I mean, can you actually read it?
Oh no, yes, it's in English.
Okay, all right.
$42 from All in One Mighty saying, "The host is sexy, the runner is sexy, the couch is illegally sexy. Much love from the tech team."
Oh man.
Thank you, tech team, for that $42 donation.
Shout out to Tech Team, aka more of Calathon staff.
Yeah, I mean, I
by
kind
the way,
of.
you're
I'll be
not
real.
in
Like,
this stuff.
I bust like Tech Team's chops a little bit in the last 2 Calathons, but like, they have a really hard job, especially like considering what they have to work with. You know, Calathon's not a huge, operation. This is
CVHD.
really a passion project. So like, really appreciative for Jeff and Shasta and the whole staff in general for starting up this event and continuing it. Also, small charity events in
Fueled by the
general.
very
Like,
flames of hell
I look
itself.
forward to perhaps even seeing like another DeuceCon if that happens, because I had a lot of fun watching that. It sounded like it was a great event for people who went there. I won't mention too many other events, but there's a lot of small kind of regional events that have popped up that seem really positive for the communities that they're part of, because not everybody can go, you know, across the country to run their speed game. Not everybody thrives even in a large speed game marathon sense. Like,
Not everyone can afford GDQ, man.
It's expensive to get to a GDQ.
all right, this is the Gravedigger skip. This is another skip that probably took me about 70 hours to figure out.
Are you in hell?
All right, it's okay. We get a checkpoint right before that. It's just I didn't quite get the launch there. So it turns out that if you are blocking as a platform starts breaking and disappearing, you're counted in a ground state, and that allows you to relaunch. Finding that out via Fiddlestick's notes actually made this trick considerably easier. It is still difficult, though. That was really close. So there's basically death collision on like all around that area, and you have to jump in a very, very specific angle and get enough speed and enough height to kind of hit this narrow corridor that allows you to continue forward there. Nice. Okay, stay on. Okay, good. Okay, so that skips that boss and climbing up this lava-infested chimney. That is about 4.5 minutes of time save if you get it first try. Getting it third try is still very, very good, obviously. All right, so we're getting close to the end of the game here. Last
And so
two
it
chapters.
begins.
Necromancer
The
Abyss is
Necromancer's Abyss.
another heavy run killer. There's a lot of very, very difficult tricks inside of this game, and particularly the Necromancer Skip in the middle of this stage. I have to do it twice, and if the boss decides to, he can really cause problems with it.
This area looks like it would have some sick tumbleweeds, doesn't it,
Man.
Turbo?
That reference. So on my way down here, I had a 1.5-hour plane delay as a 3-foot tumbleweed lodged itself inside of the jet engine of the plane I was on, right as we were going to take off. So
That's great.
that was pretty sweet.
I can't believe you came up and were just like a tumbleweed. Just went into the jet engine.
See, I thought he was joking when he posted it
know,
on
I thought-
Twitter. I thought he was just memeing like usual, but apparently, yeah.
Nope, that tumbleweed got a nice damage stack.
All those Blade fans died, dude.
This is a simple puzzle thing here. It's possible to skip this puzzle with an infinite jump trick, but on a single failure, you're pretty much losing time.
Hey, a quick question from chat. I saw it from someone named Gecko. Is this game worth it to buy? That is a question to you.
If you enjoy 3D character action games that maybe have flawed combat, and you're willing to look at it for itself, like just as the game itself, not as a Castlevania game, just play the game out, I think it's totally fine to pick up on a Steam sale. Whether it's worth not picking it up on sale would be entirely up to you and your predilections regarding that. But if you're interested in speedrunning this game, I think it's a fantastic speedrun, but again, it is very difficult to pick up. And I'm going to, once I kind of get settled after this marathon season, I'm going to try my best to try and archive and document skips as best I can. With that being said, I'm a big proponent of speedrunning archival and tutorials.
You do a very good job. Your tutorials taught me how to play Soden. So,
a lot
I
of
also learned any percent Rick's Alucard too off
Yeah.
the tutorial.
It's a solid tutorial.
yeah. If you've ever heard of me outside of this event, chances are it's in the context of me producing the most up-to-date and advanced Soten tutorial to date right now. I hope to do a revision on that as time allows. I've just been kind of stuck with other projects. The only other way you might know me is through possibly Guacamelee. But Soten and Guacamelee are definitely the two games I'm probably most well known for. I guess Parasite Eve a little
Yeah,
bit too,
I was about to be like,
although I don't really play that as much anymore.
that was your jam for a while.
Yeah. Shoutouts to Parasite Eve community, by the way, who have really taken that game and ran with it. One of my few regrets when it comes to speedrunning is that I wasn't able to keep up with that community as it kind of evolved and developed. So I managed to get the Necromancer Skip, but I didn't land where I needed to. I need to land inside of that arena pit. By landing on the outside of it, I don't have a way to get over the invisible wall blocking the path there and hitting it. The difficulty here is not necessarily getting on top of here, although if he crowds me like that, then it can be an issue. The main issue comes from the fact that when the Necromancer summons zombies, he locks the camera and my inputs until they come out like that. Yeah, so once again, I kind of got stuck there. And it's not uncommon to take like 2 or 3 attempts on this. It just depends on what type of luck he wants to give me, really. I mean, there is execution to be done here, but, you know, once again, if bosses want to, they can completely destroy you. Yeah. So there he froze me in the air again, so I wasn't able to... Ow. Please, game.
Necromancer, please.
He's got your number.
Yeah, he
This
is.
guy's a jerk.
He is doing it right now. So he just spun the camera like 4 times. So we're just gonna restart that. I'm not gonna deal with it.
Rewind the tape real quick.
Okay. So I'm trying to wait here in hopes that he's gonna do something. Okay. Maybe that's enough. Yeah, he is. He's doing this at like the worst times. So what's going to be coming down the pike anyway, McGamer, for California-thon?
Well, right now, we're doing Castlevania Lords of Shadow. Coming up, we have Legacy of Kain Defiance, then Odin Sphere. For Odin Sphere, it's not very important. We are doing a character bid war between Cornelius and Gwendolyn. Gwendolyn, falling behind, only at $20, which is a shame because someone named Gwendolyn obviously deserves to be in California. Califon.
California thon.
I'm sorry, it's the year 2017 in my brain and my mind.
Yeah, MC's kind of backwards right now.
MC, what are you looking forward to at this event? Like, what run? We haven't asked you.
Well, I was looking forward to Yoshi's Island until I found out it wasn't at this event, but that's okay. There's lots of other great things coming up.
Okay.
I'm excited to see anything that Romsky has running. That guy knows what he's doing.
We are going to give this one more shot, and then this is going to be really... Well, no. We're gonna do this.
You're gonna do this?
No, we're going to do this.
I believe in you, Turbo.
Everyone, chat, spam, bless RNG.
I would love to believe I'm going to do this too, but this guy is doing
This
this.
is a joke.
Oh.
It's just, yeah, okay. trying to think how I want to approach this.
And everybody, just make sure you head on over to our Tiltify page. You can make a donation there, choose challenges. If you want to put it towards the file name, you're able to do that. The donate link can be posted up in chat by one of our mods. Also, you can check it out inside our Twitch bio, available on mobile and on desktop. Just hit the big old donate button, make a contribution to a great cause. It gives money to get medical aid and supplies all across the world. You know, those big hurricanes happened last year. Direct Relief is helping out a lot, getting supplies where they need to be to help the people affected by those. And of course, they're working all year round, no matter if it's a disaster or not. So keep it going. Thanks, of course, again to Bebo and Twitch for helping sponsor this event and helping us raise some big money for the charity. We really appreciate a donation. If not, that's okay. Just come on over to the chat. Come chat with us. We're having a good time here at Calithon.
So I was hoping that I was going to be able to go underestimate by a fair amount. That it's becoming considerably less of an option with what just happened here. But we're going to do what we can here.
You're doing great.
So normally you would want to jump off of that gate and fall down the abyss until you landed into a gate that I'm going to be going to shortly. Okay, so here I can go like this. Okay. So that's just a manipulation of the death state. Okay. Alright. We would have landed over here and gotten to this portal that I'm about to get to. Normally this would save quite a bit of time. But as mentioned, things did not exactly go according to plan, according to the boss.
Yeah, this game's really hard, even with putting over 500 hours in, like Turbo's done. Like, it's still rough, like all the way through.
The biggest issue when it comes to the boss skips is, again, that the bosses dictate how the camera will move. Like, you don't really control it. And considering that the camera and the bosses both have collision associated with them, and it expands and contracts, like, it can be very difficult to cope with what the game gives you. Still, we go ahead and activate the portal. We're going to be on our way here.
Dude, not gonna lie, this game has a pretty good music.
Yeah. It's just so visually appealing with the music. Like, it just all flows with each other.
I'm pretty sure it's worth your money to buy it.
Yeah, no, definitely. So this is Necromancer 2?
Yeah, this is going to be the last Necromancer that we're going to have to fight for this. And then we're going to be making our way over to Dracolich, and then the final boss, which is going to prove that Gabo Belmont is best Belmont. So because I've run out of magic here, I'm just going to spam some holy water.
Holy water, pretty much Castlevania's most busted sub-weapon.
It's so broken in every game.
It's not busted in Bloodlines.
That's Bloodlines. That's very much a game. But still, we'll say 90% of the games.
CPU 1, 2, 3, no, 4 uses Boomerang.
Speaking of Bloodline, shoutouts to our boy Spriven, who's been making his way through a bunch of Castlevania games and speedruns, just kind of casually looking through them.
As we head in towards some more excellent bosses, we have $50 in from Perry Weather saying this run has been fun to watch so far. Look forward to the rest of the weekend's runs. Thank you very, very much for that $50 towards Direct Relief. You're in for a bunch of giveaways.
Appreciate that. I like being able to show off games that people might not have really been exposed to, for lack of a better term.
I say $20 is worth the soundtrack itself exclusively, personally.
And I believe it's like $20 for like the Ultimate Edition, so you get all the extra stuff.
Heck.
Man, if you guys have a funny game, a meme game, please submit it to Calithon. There's a pretty good chance you will get it in, because we just love stuff like this. And let the world see what you run and entertain us.
Luckily, after that Clown Fiesta, there is only one more skip left. This is another skip that I spent a lot of time on, but really once we found out backwards long jump and broke down a couple more mechanics, it got a lot easier, and it didn't take much time after that stuff happened. So, but that one's going to be a pretty infamous skip, I feel like. Anybody who's played this game and reached the final Titan, the Draco Lich, is familiar with how long and exhausting that fight is. Basically, it's a huge skeletal worm dragon, and you're meant to be like crawling all over him as he's flying all around the stage in this huge set piece, climbing all about him, breaking ruins, and it's a very long fight. I think it's like I want to say an 8-minute fight casually. But if everything goes well, we are going to be bypassing that pretty considerably. And I'll kind of talk about that a little bit more once we get to Draco Lich. So like you might look at this setting and be like, wow, this is a lot of brown. Like look at this brown and gray game. But this is kind of appropriate for the end of the game because this is supposed to be the Necromancer's domain. Like it's devoid of life. Everything's gone here. It's been completely destroyed.
Looks like hell.
Pretty much.
It's sandy hell. Very sandy.
Anakin would hate it here.
Oh, he'd not be happy.
Anakin also does not use ampersands because sand's everywhere.
He'd probably lose a couple limbs coming back here.
So
All right,
good,
so
so beautiful.
this is going to be Draco Lich Skip, hopefully.
Plus RNG.
Okay. It's alright.
It's alright, you got this.
Yeah. This one, again, it's one of those skips where like it's not uncommon to do a couple of attempts on it. And it's relatively quick to set up.
It looks awesome with them just flying around in the back. And just punching air.
Oh, man. So what I'm getting there is when I'm deactivating my shadow, which I have to do for the backup strat for that, I'm re-entering a standing state, which is the thing that's messing me up. There we go. So that's the backup. So what I did there is I jumped across using an invisible wall to this other platform. And this is supposed to be basically the fourth and final phase of the fight. So by doing that, I have skipped over the entire phases of crawling all over the Draco Lich, and I basically just get to the end of it.
You went in his mouth. And then skipped the cutscene.
And now,
Alright, this is the final fight.
battle is come.
So this final fight
Marie
is against the Satan. Lucifer himself, the King of Darkness.
The greatest Lord of Shadow.
I'm not kidding. This isn't like a joke or an exaggeration. This is literally Satan I'm spinning to win against.
Is that the power of God?
And not only does he beat him here, he also kicks Satan's butt when he's on steroids in Lords of Shadow 2. Nice little divine fisticuffs here.
See, Julius only beat Dracula. He beat up Lucifer. Satan, whatever you want to call him.
Yo, he's about to catch these hands.
See these hands, boy? What's up?
This is true Z fighting.
So this is a Dragon Ball Z finale, right? Just
So
look at him slug.
We're gonna have timer coming up soon. It's gonna be during some QTE cutscenes. And I'll give you a cue. Fortunately, we cannot skip these little things. Alright, so him turning red is actually good there, because I can corner him. Turning blue, not so much, but that's alright. These are all minor things I'm talking about. The little rings he's making, by the way, in between phases, you have to match the color, or else Gabriel gets reflected. This is a bit of RNG here
Stay
on
back
where
from
he
me.
decides to put the rings. Okay. So I mentioned there's one other skip that hasn't been confirmed on PC. You can use a Dark Crystal potentially to cut away these cutscenes, but I have not been able to do it on PC. So Gabriel's going to kick him out of the ground, and then there's going to be one more QTE after that. So get ready on time. Now.
Die. Underestimate.
Nice run.
So there's a pretty nice ending. I don't know if we got time to watch the ending, but if you guys are so inclined, it's really cool, has a really nice message, wraps up everything nicely. But just remember that Gabo Belmont fist fought the Satan twice. Kicked his butt both times.
I ask forgiveness and mercy for those that I have wronged. What I did unknowingly. Yet I would change everything if I could. He isn't listening, Gabriel. Your fate is fixed. Every man has the power to repent. I have faith in that. Forgive me. Forgive me. My God.
This is why you got banished from the church in the anime?
I will introduce you to such pleasures. Her soul will go only to him. Once I have finished with you, Angel.
So a bit of context here as well. Without saying too much, it's revealed that the original founders turned into the Lords of Shadow. There is a read-into you could do here that says that what happens here is Gabriel becoming like the Lords of Shadow at this point. I won't say more than that, but that's supposed to be one of the lead-ups to maybe why he becomes Dracula. The DLC basically covers how he becomes a vampire and turns to the dark side. But we ain't playing that because that is not good. It's not fast either.
As these ending cutscenes finish up, I do have a Marathon Classic donation rated here.
Is it greetings from Germany?
No, even better. It's $5 from a $5 donation saying we got a $5 donation from $5 donation saying $5 donations are my waifu. Thank you for your $5 donation. No, truly, thank you. You're entered into win Drake and Josh. What a day.
Tell me that was from Anonymous. Oh, jeez.
No. I do not want this.
Come on, guys. Keep those memes coming.
Give him back to me.
It is your fate.
So this entire game, Gabriel's been chasing after the God Mask under the assumption that it would give him the power to bring back his wife.
But without you.
But basically, once he gathered the pieces, Satan took the mask and attempted to usurp heaven with it. And that's how you kind of save the world. With your huge, huge heroism.
I had faith in you. Hoped that you would be
You kill
strong
Satan and become a Lord of Shadow yourself.
And you did not let me down.
Fair.
I am not worthy of your faith. Your love. I am nothing.
You are a good man, Gabriel. You are as God intended. Fallible, yet capable of great things. I loved you then, as I love you now. I see before me a man who has regained God's favor, and who has my forgiveness, and the forgiveness of all the lost souls of this world. You have saved us all.
So, guy on the tech station, what are you looking forward to? I got Zorlax back there. Who's the other person back there on tech? Is it Sikinar, it looks like?
No.
No? It's okay, I can relay it. What is Zorlax looking forward to?
The mask.
Zorlax says Frogger's Adventure 2. Yeah, he says Gargoyle's Crest 2.
Yes. Look.
All in One Mighty, also from our other tech crew dude. So it's revealed that the main concept of the mask is it just reveals that you can see through God's eyes. Which is also kind of an odd thing as well, because when you watch as Gabriel defeat Satan while he's wearing the mask, he is completely terrified of Gabriel. So,
No, don't go.
again, you could read that into be that even through God's eyes, Gabriel looks a bit monstrous,
Please
but
stay.
since
Stay with
Satan
me.
doesn't have the
It's
capacity to have
beautiful.
forgiveness or hope or faith or
Beautiful. It's
general
calming to me.
benevolence and mercy, like
Calming.
he doesn't have that ability to see that Gabriel can redeem himself. So he's just this monster that's gonna destroy him.
Man, I really thought Castlevania was just about whipping Dracula. This is getting deep for me.
You punching Satan in this game.
Oh, which is much more emotionally involved, as it turns out.
Yeah. But as I mentioned, if this game looks interesting to you, definitely look for it on sale. I caution you against learning the speedrun, but if you're so inclined, like I said, I'll try to put as many resources as I can out there. I'd like to thank the Californiathon staff for allowing me to show this game here. This is the very first RTA speedrun at a live event for Castlevania Lords of Shadow. I'd also like to give a special thank you to Comrade Control and Castlemania Marathon and Easy Zero Mash for the ARPG Marathon, the two first online marathons that this run was shown. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed, and it's been my pleasure to show this to you guys tonight. We're going to go ahead and skip the credits and skip the epilogue so we can hop right back into it. I've spent enough time already on this. But yeah, thank you very much, guys. I'll see you early Sunday, like real early, 3 a.m. for Rad Raygun. So, see you later. Stay tuned. We got an awesome Legacy of Kain Defiance run next, right? All right, but I'm going to head out of here. See you guys later.
Peace out, Calathon.
Thank you again. We had a wonderful run there from TurboDog, and of course we got Legacy